Most guys out there have no idea that any of these fragrances exist. I'm talking about people not actively involved in the fragrance community, the type of guys who just will buy a cologne here and there just because it smells good, and then that's kind of what they wear. They're never really going to discover these because these just aren't really going to capture a whole lot outside of the community. Personally, I think each and every one of these fragrances are amazing. They're perfect in their own way. And luckily, these are gonna be our best kept secret. All of us here in the fragrance community can utilize these and smell different than everybody else out there. Because while the fragrance community does feel pretty big and it's growing daily, it's still, you know, a drop in the bucket compared to the entire population. So definitely, you're gonna have an edge when you wear these. You're gonna smell amazing. We're gonna get started off with Jean Paul Gaultier Le Beau. This is Flower Edition. I know it doesn't look like it. I'm about due for a new one, but this gets the point across. It's got violet leaf, kumquat, some cashmere in here as well. It is currently, as of 2025, the freshest version in the Le Beau lineup, okay? At one point, Paradise Garden, last year's release, was the freshest until this came out this year, and now this is the freshest. And to me, this is more of a true embodiment of what I would expect out of a summer fragrance. And there's nothing wrong with any of the past releases. I think the entire Le Beau lineup is great. However, it is sweet leaning and not quite the best for certain times or certain periods within that summer season, basically when it's really, really hot and humid. I find that Flower Edition can hold up to that a little bit better. And personally, I didn't think I was going to like this all that much because I'm not a big fan of floral fragrances unless they're done, you know, in a certain way. And so I really wasn't sure about this. I ended up getting it in and far exceeded my expectations big time, and I was so happy about that because I was kind of expecting to be let down. Honestly, it isn't all that floral, which is kind of surprising given the name and even the little flower right here on the front of the bottle, but it's really not. I mean, maybe a little, but it's not really what you're expecting. I would say this is probably going to be different than what 99% of you would expect it to smell like. So really the only way to find out is to give it a try. It's a great performer, a great compliment puller. It's great for summertime and nobody else is gonna be wearing this stuff. This next one is Dumont Nitro Red Pour Homme. You're never gonna hear about this one outside of the community. It's not tied to a huge designer name like all of your basics, Armani, YSL, Jean Paul Gaultier, Gucci, and the list goes on extensively, Mont Blanc and so on, you know, and those always have an edge. They're always going to be able to release something and already have it start off popular just because it's coming from a huge brand like that. This is not that. And also it's something that you're not gonna find in retailers in person. Generally, it's not gonna happen. So basically, it's kind of an online discounter exclusive. So really, you got to know where to shop. Obviously, all of us in the fragrance community, we figured this out by now. This one's easy to get at this point. All of your favorite discounters have it. Joe Machot, Fragrance Net, Fragrance Buy, whatever. You can get this one. It's generally going to be somewhere around $35 or so. But there are a lot of people out there who have no idea discounters exist and they still question the authenticity of places like Fragrance Net and Joe Machot. Those people just don't really have a clue. And we all start somewhere, but just kind of, you know, bringing that point home, you're not really going to see this one outside of the community. This one has apple, watermelon, lavender, and some amber in here as well, kind of an ambergris, ambroxan. This stuff smells great, okay? What does it smell like? It's got that sweet Invictus Aqua, Rosassi Howis type of thing going on. It's not, you know, a one-to-one of any of those though. It kind of takes, you know, some of the better parts of Invictus, prowess and so on, and then kind of reimagines it. And in this case here, what they're doing to make this one stand out is the addition of watermelon, which is highly underutilized, at least in men's fragrances. You just don't see it all that often, but when it is used, man, it smells great, kind of delicious, fruity, sweet, juicy, and it gives it just a slight bit of a gourmand aspect, similar to like a plum note. Not used very often at all in men's fragrances, but when it is used, man, it usually is the star of the show. That's what's happening here. It could come across to some people as a little bit more of a feminine smell. You know, you take a look at a lot of, I guess, women's beauty products, and they might be watermelon flavored or watermelon scented, and so you just don't see that as often on the men's side of things. However, this one is balanced out with everything else, that musk, the ambroxan, some lavender aromatics, and even just a hint of woods later on, to where this doesn't smell feminine. It's done right here in this case. This one is really popular, and for a great reason. It's a great scent, affordable price, wonderful longevity, and of course, it's a great compliment puller. Definitely one way to stand out. Let's go for something like Guerlain L'Homme Eau de Parfum, kind of gearing up for fall and winter. Still got a ways to go, luckily, but you know, we're gonna be there at some point pretty soon, and right now you can get this one easily. $113, $114, 100 ml, far below the retail price of what I believe to be $175 or something. So nice savings there. Because it is newer, sometimes it does sell out here and there on discounters. It will stabilize at some point as more time goes on. And I mean, take a look at what happened to Ideal Extreme and stuff. Now that one's down to around $70. The Eau de Parfum sometimes even a bit less, or right around that same price. So these do have the ability to drop quite a bit with time. You know, took Extreme a good several years to get there, but it will happen. Not going to see it that low with the Parfum for a while, but to me, it is worth every bit of $115, $120. It is phenomenal for the price. It has amaretto, it has leather, patchouli, and of course, something that they don't list off, but is definitely there, almond. That almond is still the star of the show, just with a bit of a boozy kick. It's like a leathery, masculine undertone, and then also kind of a patchouli, woody, gentlemanly type of smell to it. It's a fantastic blend from start to finish, and that almond kind of gives it this powdery, slightly dusty smell too, which is common throughout the entire lineup. That's what makes these what they are. It's probably, I don't know, it's probably about my favorite now. This and the Extreme are definitely neck and neck with the EDP right behind. Man, this stuff is absolutely amazing. And while I'm not getting any use out of it right now, it's just way too hot for it. Here in a few months, I definitely will be wearing this one heavily. So something that is worth grabbing, especially when you can get it for a good price. L'Homme Eau de Parfum. This next one is Gucci Guilty Elixir. Now, okay, I mentioned Gucci earlier. Yeah, you know, I was talking about Dumont not being like a huge brand like Gucci, YSL, Armani, and so on. Well, here's a Gucci, right? So you're probably thinking, what's the deal? The deal is, this is expensive. As I was bringing up that point earlier, all of those brands being at retail, this stuff is, I mean, it's over $160. I don't remember what it is off the top of my head, but you're talking about a small bottle, 60 ml, for $160 plus, okay? It's a lot of money. And again, a lot of people, one, don't know or don't trust discounters where you can save money and get the same exact thing. And two, in the case of the scent, this is not going to be a broad reach type of scent. This is not Gucci Guilty Black or Gucci Guilty Parfum or really any Gucci Guilty, basically. It's not. It's different. It's more of a white floral, sweet type of scent that a lot of guys just wouldn't like the smell of, and just something way different. This one does have orange blossom, it has iris, it has vanilla, so kind of a sweeter white floral. To me, it smells quite a bit like Amouage Reflection Man 45 Extrait. I've already talked about that a ton, so I'm not going to spend time on it. That one's also very expensive, $500 at retail, discounters for around $300 or so. But yeah, it's a very different, unique smell. And a lot of guys, again, they're just not going to like it. They might pick this one up and smell it, and they might be a little bit caught off guard, to say the least, especially if they're going from Gucci Guilty Black over to something like this, or Sauvage over to something like this. You know, it's just, it doesn't have the same type of viral appeal that a lot of other designer fragrances have. And so that makes me question a couple of things. The main one being, how long will this be around? You know, is it going to stay in production for a long time? Because it's not super popular like Sauvage Elixir. You know, it didn't take off in that way. I don't think it will. So it begs the question, are they going to discontinue this one after a couple of years? All we could do is plan for right now. And right now you can get it on discounters. $120 or a little bit less sometimes. It's still a lot of money, but less than retail. And to me, it's something that you can wear and really stand out and smell unique with. It's a confident smelling scent. It's a gentleman's kind of classy smelling scent. You still stand to get good feedback from this one. It might not be, you know, quite as widespread, but I would say that the feedback that you do get from this one will be, you know, when somebody likes it, they're really going to like it type of thing, which, you know, is pretty cool. Let's go from one green bottle to another here, another unique one. Brioni Eau de Parfum Essentiel. This one has bergamot, tomato or tomato leaf, and patchouli. Of course, still some musk and things like that, which is used throughout the entirety of the lineup and is used in most every fragrance anyway, but those are the three main notes here. And man, I'll tell you, talk about a green, aromatic, earthy smelling scent that is truly one of a kind. You know, most of these fragrances I can tie back to something else. And in fact, for most of these, as I've been describing them, I kind of have. Whether it's another flanker or another scent from another brand entirely, they all can kind of connect in one way or another. I struggle to do that with this. Maybe just a little, and this is more of a stretch. It's just Valentino Uomo Acqua used tomato leaf. That's the only thing that I could even think about saying that it smells somewhat similar to. And of course, Uomo Acqua is discontinued, so not even really in the picture anymore. But other than that, there's nothing else that smells like this, at least that I have tried, that I've smelled. I can't come to that conclusion really. So something that will stand out. If you want unique, you want different, you want something exciting and new, which we don't always get from designer brands, this is it. And also, it's not hatefully priced. It's not $150 or something like that. On discounters right now, it's going for around $70. And I think that price will continue to maybe drop just a touch more in line with the original at some point. It's very, very reasonable, especially for how unique it is. It's a great performer coming in at an eau de parfum concentration. You get a nice magnetic cap, nice presentation. They're simple, but they're classy, kind of refined, elegant looking. And if you just want something green, earthy, aromatic, check it out. Go for something like Elysium Eau Intense by Roja Parfums. How many of you guys saw the leak of the new Elysium coming out? I just completely blanked on the name. Elysium, is it Noir? Boy, I don't know. I can't remember. Something though, a real dark blue bottle. Somebody help me out down below because I just saw it. Not available for purchase yet. It's looking like kind of towards in fall. But I think it's you know, Elysium Noir or something along those lines. I'm pumped up for that. Rhubarb, grapefruit, black pepper, and of course vetiver, along with a little bit of a juniper berry twist as well, and a ton of other notes. This stuff is really cool looking. You got, basically it's a frosted glass to not frosted glass gradient here. You can kind of see it. You can hold it this way too. It's kind of easier to see it upside down almost. Just really, really cool presentation on this one. And basically it's a bit fresher than the original Elysium, which isn't fully necessary, I would say, because the original Elysium is already fresh. However, this one is nice. Kind of has this kind of iced, frosted smell. Frosted glass, kind of fresher, makes sense, but really it does. It's just a little bit more cooling, a little bit more crisp. Still does have the vetiver, but not as strong, and also it loses some of that sweetness because Elysium, while it is fresh, kind of blue, summer oriented for sure, it is a bit sweet at times. I don't find that to be the case really at all with Elysium Eau Intense. Great smelling scent, gonna be out of the budget for a lot of people, but even, you know, discounters, it's better. People who don't know about discounters are not gonna be paying full retail for this. So, you know, realistically, for what you get, 100 ml full presentation, for people who want niche and who are gonna shop through discounters, it's not outrageous. I mean, really, as far as niche goes, it's not crazy. So a lot of you guys are gonna pick this up and like it, or already have, or have the original Elysium. But a lot of people that aren't in the community don't even know what Roja Parfums is. So yet another way to stand out. Last up for this video, we have Nuit Issey Parfum by Issey Miyake, a long-standing discontinued fragrance, but yet still readily available. Usually around $60 to $65 for this. It has leather, tonka bean, vanilla, pink pepper, smooth, sweet, kind of spicy, beautiful creamy leather vanilla. Man, it's a work of art, truly. I know I say this often, you know, not about everything, but there are several fragrances that I've said this about where, simply put, they don't make them like this anymore. You know, you hear that saying all the time, people talking about cars and stuff and how houses are built. They just don't make them like they used to. But they really don't. I mean, we're not really getting stuff like this all that often anymore. You know, it's just a lot of kind of more or less cookie cutter stuff, and this is not. And I really like that about this scent, and that's why I recommend picking it up while you still can. And also, a lot of fragrances within this lineup are following in similar footsteps, all discontinued, of course. Noir Ombre, Issey Miyake Polaris, or Incense, and probably a few more that I'm missing, are all super unique, but of course they're all gone now. So don't let that be you. Don't miss out on those, or don't miss out on this like you might have missed out on those. I'd grab a bottle of this stuff. Alrighty guys, there you go. Average Joe's, your typical guy, has no idea any of these fragrances exist. And so if you want to stand out and smell different and kind of be let in on the secret, go check these out. They're great. I'm going to link every one of them down below to discounters. If you want to be notified of rare, discontinued, hard to find fragrances coming into stock, or just really good deals, sign up to my mailing list and texting list at the link and number down below. Also, check out my community tab on YouTube. I post there every single day. Same thing. Deals and restocks and discounts and whatever. So oftentimes lower quantity inventory stuff makes it there, whereas the real big restocks go to my mailing list because it can support that. So we'll see you over there. Great way to save money and also get some really cool stuff as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.